Hey everybody, BTO Pro here. I've done it. I have finally won. I can never have to think about this concept again until we replace it. All right, what is it? So Polymer element had this interesting convention that our team enjoyed. It involved @apply. Now, it was a proposed W3C standard convention for HTML, or sorry, for CSS extension. Didn't work out. The way it would look is you'd have your CSS, and you would say, you know what, I want to make maximum flexibility here, so we'll do apply your customizations. All right, and you would write this. Someone else implementing CSS to target your element, so in this case, this is called hacks toolbar item. They could write CSS that look like this. They could then do hacks toolbar item, all right, normal CSS, and then the name of that CSS variable, your customizations, and then it was like a wildcard. They could do whatever they wanted then. So I could say font size 100 pixels, border 1px solid blue, right? So it was basically like a fallback, like, hey, we tried to give you flexibility API-wise into the design, but you might come up with other things. Now, we have largely gotten off of this approach because as this little message at the top, I have now started to print and things says deprecated. So this didn't catch on. It was something heavily used in Polymer and a couple other web component community contributed projects that we've adopted. And we started to use it in our own in instances where we were like, well, this will be a fallback. We're not really sure. So this has been a blocking issue for us moving forward because there are still instances where we'll use like paper tooltip, and the only way to influence the styling within paper tooltip with something like border radius, right, with an intense detail, was to do it via this @apply, right? Because the Polymer team developers said, hey, here's some logical ones. And then like, all right, if we didn't think of what you want to do here, you can just hijack it. So how do you do @applies in LitElement? Well, for one, you shouldn't. So do this only when you absolutely need to. But there's a Polymer element that they have called custom style. And so what I'm doing is I'm importing that custom style tag. It's a special tag just for interfacing with style tags themselves. Now, LitElement has its own way of doing styles for performance and reuse. So I'm defining my normal styles here, the ones that don't use this syntax. And you can see all of them there. Now, I can still use CSS variables, which is fantastic. So now, to use a custom style, and I don't actually need this is on here, the way you use custom style is you define custom style and then style inside of it, because it looks for it inside of its shadow root. Then, or sorry, in its light DOM, I should say. Then in your styles, you can use these @apply style syntax, my customizations, right? This would now be valid. Someone else implementing it would then wrap it in their custom styles thing, and it would cascade correctly, but just for that one area. So let's see this in action. So I have border radius 0. And so what this ends up doing, this is the commit. I actually pushed this up because it works, thank God. So if I go here, what you see is title. And so title is, it doesn't have the borders on it, but, or sorry, border radius, but to emphasize, this could be anything, right? I can make this font size 100, background color orange, and this is one of the last things it processes, so it's gonna actually hijack the tooltip background, which is a specific CSS variable. And there we go. So you can see this is a cool convention. It didn't catch on. It's been co-opted by something called parts. So CSS shadow parts, which we haven't started adopting yet, but we clearly should, is the successor to this approach. But I want to point this out. Our team has been struggling with this for weeks. And it was becoming a blocking issue for our migrating certain elements to LitElement as we're doing a huge conversion to get off of Polymer element onto LitElement, one brick at a time. So if you want to learn more about these things that we're converting, this is work going on in Hacks or Hacks the Web. So if you go to hackstheweb.org, you can learn more about the headless authoring experience and all the hundreds of elements we're producing in pursuit of it. So we've got a roadmap in there. We've got what some of the solutions and integrations are, how to get involved and join our Slack channels, things like that. So have a good day. I know I'm going to now that I understand how to do apply again.